We're so happy to have you all back in here. It's our favorite activity of the month, and I think you already know that. Today is the last cafe of the year, but it doesn't make us sad because it's a very special cafe, because it's all about how important it is for us to give back to others, and how a bit of sharing and learning from each other, and how you and someone that you know of is giving back to the community. Okay, so welcome everybody. If we could write on the chat, if you could write on the chat your name, the country you're from originally, or where you live, it doesn't matter. And maybe if you want to share your, because these cafes are all about networking and knowing each other and connecting with each other. So if you want to share, for example, your contact, your LinkedIn contact, your email, or your Twitter, anything that you would like to share there in the chat, please do so, because it's all about connecting with others and doing things together, hopefully. So use the chat for that. Let me open the chat myself, because I had it closed. Yes, we have Wissam from Palestine, and I might go there soon, Wissam. I will let you know.
Oh, yes, please. You are welcome. And please let me know. Yeah.
I always say Wissam, but it's Wissam, right?
Wow.
Okay, wow. Wissam. Very good, Wissam. We have Carol from France and Marta from Barcelona. Hello, both of you. Aranza, how are you today? Ashley as well, who we know well, from Valencia, but he's originally from Turkey, right? I always say we should make a nice map on these cafes. And so welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. I want to maybe first of all would love to share. Megan, maybe you can share screen, because I found a few sorry, someone wanted to say something? I heard someone. It's okay. I wanted to share with you a few quotes that I found on internet that are all about giving back to others. Okay, and I'm just going to read them for you. You can read them yourself as well. Let me know if you agree with them, if you like them, if you think they're true, or that they touch your heart. You cannot do a kindness too soon, for you never know how soon it will be too late. I love that one. Sometimes you're waiting for the best time or the best people to help, and it might be too late. Even if you just change one life, you've changed the world forever. And I love that one, because sometimes we have big dreams and we want to make a big project, and maybe just tiny little actions can make a difference. I found this one from Oprah. To move forward, you have to give back. I liked it. My favorite from St. Francis of Assisi, for it is in giving that we receive. There's one by Churchill, I believe, that it's really interesting. We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. I love that one. There's one from Mother Teresa. One thing that I ask for you, never be afraid of giving. And I love that word afraid, because being brave, it's an important part of this. Never be afraid of giving. There is a deep joy in giving, since what we receive is much more than what we give. And there's another one by ex-President Bush from the United States. But I think it was an interesting one. There could be no definition of a successful life that does not include service to others. I like that. I think we should begin our afternoon today by introducing you to a project that I absolutely love. It's called El Pana Bus, and it might be a weird word for some of you. I think I have to start by telling you what pana means. Okay, pana is a very special Venezuelan word. I actually found an article not long ago that it was called, I'm going to quote here, "The Privilege of Being a Pana in Venezuela." Okay, and it described the word pana as being a buddy, way more than a best friend, a brother. In Spain, there's the word compi, but honestly, compi does not go close to a pana, okay? So, because in Venezuela, when someone is really good, when we know someone that it's a very good person, we call it a pan, a piece of bread. Okay, a piece of bread. So being a pana is like the best thing you can be. It's a privilege to be someone's pana. So now imagine a boss that it's a pana. Okay, so imagine that beautiful concept. Let's start by watching a video about what the Pana Boss initiative is. Project. It's not an initiative, it's an amazing project, and we'll talk about it later on. So enjoy the video.
Llegué a situación de calle cuando tenía 5 meses de embarazo. No tuve la ayuda de mi familia. Me sacaron de la casa donde vivía alquilada. Dormía en el piso de un cartón con mi hija todas las noches.
Mi nombre es Sergio Hernández, tengo 46 años y mi cargo es mediador de calle integral. Tuve 22 años en situación de calle. Fueron 22 años de agonía, noches de angustias, de lluvia, de buscar todos los días dónde dormir, en qué puente me iba a quedar, qué parte de la quebrada del Guaire podía conseguir, dónde tener una tranquilidad. Nosotros vamos a hacer su familia aquí hoy, vamos a hacer su casa. Vamos a brindarle ese apoyo, ese cariño, ese amor que quizás a veces nos falta tanto en la calle.
Fue una ducha totalmente agradable, porque tenía tiempo que no sentía tanta agua así, que mira, dije, bueno, esto es una bendición, hay que aprovecharla, porque uno por lo menos yo me siento que ando hediondo, y a lo mejor no olería nada, pero estoy hediondo, ¿no? Y pegajoso, y es horrible.
Perdí todo, no, realmente quedé en la calle. Lo más difícil para mí es vivir en la calle. Yo siento que me ven extraño, que me ha tocado que comer de la basura. Oye, imagínense, tenía tiempo, lo que se llama para mí años, porque eso sí hacen años que no sabía lo que era un champú, un jabón, un buen baño, una buena atención. Me mandaron pastillas, me mandaron unas cremas para ¿cómo se llama eso? Para la escoliosis y muchas cosas. Y comí.
Un buen día me hablaron del Panabú, decidí buscarlo por toda Caracas. Ellos en vez de buscarme a mí, yo los busqué a ellos. Necesito atención psicológica por la situación donde estaba. Yo no fui de la calle, yo nunca estuve en la calle, yo soy bachiller, tenía mi trabajo. Y la situación en que caí, mira, eso me puso a mí por el piso, me puso mal. Yo decía, Dios mío, no puede ser mi hija en la calle. Caí en nostalgia, me bañé, me atendieron, me hicieron el seguimiento. Me dieron un empleo para cuidar a una señora que tiene Alzheimer. Y de mi parte, porque yo decía, de que salgo de la calle. Yo tengo que darle a demostrar a la gente que sí se puede salir de la calle.
La idea nace de un sentimiento muy profundo de poder llevar un poco de felicidad a personas que se encuentran olvidadas y al margen de la sociedad. Se nos ocurre ver de qué manera podíamos llevar los servicios básicos a las personas que están en situación de calle, de una manera práctica, efectiva y dinámica. Entonces lo que se nos ocurrió fue acondicionar una unidad de transporte público. Finalmente lo pusimos a rodar en noviembre del año 2017. Para mí la población en situación de calle representa la población más frágil de toda sociedad. Una población que está al margen. Al fin de cuentas todos somos seres humanos y todos tenemos que ver de qué manera aportamos para que en el espacio en donde convivimos todo camine de una manera más armónica.
I'm sorry, I always get emotional with this, and especially because I'm honored to introduce to you my pana, Carlos Fer, who's here with us to tell us about his journey, how he came up with the idea, how he what it's all about, his why it was difficult or easy. So thank you, Carlos, for being here. He's just the perfect combination of an entrepreneur with a good heart and that can-do attitude that we all want to have. So thank you, Carlos, for being here. The microphone is yours. We're all honored to have you here. Tell us about it. Tell us about Panavoz and all the other initiatives you started.
Thank you, Mari. Welcome. Well, thank you all for being here and for taking the time to share and to share ideas and look into the future for a better and more sustainable society. So, this started in 2006. I was just graduated from high school back then, and in Venezuela, as most of the Latin American countries, we see it also in Europe, but let's say that on that side of the world it's more impactful. I always had this kind of controversy within my personal benefits and what surrounded me. So it was kind of something that really grew in myself, and I felt that I needed to do something about it. So one December, I decided to share a moment of happiness with the homeless people in Caracas. So back then, I decided to gather with a group of friends. And
I was there.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So together with a group of friends and with customs, with Christmas customs, which is what we celebrate in December, we decided to go in a very cheerful and positive manner, dressed as Elf and Santa Claus, with food and some things to share, like clothing and shoes and stuff like that. But the idea was not the gift. The idea was to have a moment of happiness with these people, which we felt they also deserve to have, a moment of sharing, taking into consideration that most of the year they are alone by themselves, and no one take much care about them. So we went out, and the journey was so impactful that we decided to do this on a yearly basis. But for sure that the idea kept growing into our minds, and after several years, this activity that at the beginning was within 10 friends became an international movement of volunteers. Nowadays in Caracas, this activity gathers more than 1,000 people in one day, and we gather, we get donations and lots of things to give away to the most vulnerable populations in Caracas. But this is also done in other cities and countries internationally. So the activity, of course, became very, very interesting in terms of reuniting volunteers and giving away donations. But the idea on going the extra mile was always present. And for several years, we were kind of brainstorming to see what else was possible to do outside of, let's say, December, which is a very emotional month. But of course, everyone has their own jobs and responsibilities during the day, and replicating this kind of activities all year round was kind of impossible, because it demands a lot of energy and a lot of organization, and yeah, it's a complex one. And also we saw it as a gift to give in a special day at the end of the year. So we said, well, if we repeat this, let's say every month, won't be as interesting as if everyone is waiting for that special day to give away all the energy possible. So we said, we have to focus on something else and organize a different strategy to provide support in a more impactful way. So just not giving away donations and sharing a moment of happiness, but being more having a better or a more transcendent result in the approach. So one day I was in a trip with my wife, and I was kind of very worried about what we could do within our capabilities and possibilities. So I was thinking back then, this was in 2015, so almost 10 years after I started the initiative, that there was, at least in Venezuela, there was no ambulance for homeless people, or at least the basic services were not covered for this population. They are most of the times excluded from the society and from most of the social services in Venezuela. So I came with this idea on getting a transportation bus. So configuring the bus within the inside, imagining that the homeless guy jumped inside the bus and then passed through different service stations, as when you go to a service station for your car. And then this guy comes out of the bus completely renovated and with a different attitude towards his situation. So, well, this was a scratch idea. And then I sat with my friends and we discussed it. So after a lot of brainstorming and putting a lot of effort into creating something sustainable, not financially sustainable, but at least the basics of the project. We met with different engineers and architects, and we combined a lot of thinking. So we developed this unit as a mobile house. So the bus has a huge bathroom with all the services. Then we displayed like a haircut saloon. And besides that haircut, we placed first aid medical unit, okay? And after all of these important stations, we placed a table so the guy or the lady or the boy can have a decent meal and, well, have a chat with us to see what is needed to help him or to help them get out of their situation. Of course, this was the initial idea, and everything was very kind of romantic in our heads. But when we faced the reality of the homeless population, we needed to, during the course of the project, we needed to add different tools to handle the problem in a more effective way. So it has been a project under development since we launched it in 2017. So it has been always challenging, and we have been, I would say that, yeah, on a yearly basis or every 6 months, we have been implementing new things that we didn't know in the past, that has given us the opportunity to, as for now, that the project has already 5 years running, we have been able to rescue over 60 people from the streets of Caracas. It seems a small amount of persons, taking into consideration that we have served more than 5,000 guys. So it's almost 1% of the population. But at the end, these types of activities, they are more into the impact that it has, combining efforts from society, from enterprises and nonprofit organizations, which help to develop a different way of looking at things. So it's not just numbers, or it's not just resources or results, but it's also how we live and how we interact with each other as part of a society. So these 60 people that we have rescued, they mean a lot to us and to the project, and they have also helped us create a different way of interacting in our communities. So for us has been a very interesting learning process. We have gone into ways that we didn't thought when we started the project, and yeah, it has been a very challenging but a very joyful experience. And well, now we have 2 buses doing rounds through Caracas. We have other projects in mind to expand our support, and of course that the goal is to rescue as many people as we may, but of course that the key factor here is the strategic alliances that the organization is able to do with private and public sector, because as you know, doing things by our own, it's can
not
be
tricky.
Yeah,
we might have, sorry to interrupt you, Carlos, we might have some questions around that. How did you do it? I mean, you had this wonderful idea. How did you get there and get help, right? So it's an amazing project. I'm a proud friend. I was there when Santa en las Calles started, and it was, I don't know who received more, if the people on the streets or we being on the back of those pickup street. I remember being 8 months pregnant with Guille, my first son, and going around poor barrios, giving some joy and some dignity to people. That changed my life, Carlos. I think I've never told you, but you changed my life. And you did.
That's part of that's what yeah, what I meant, that you start something, but you don't really imagine how impactful may be to yourself and to others. So it's kind of something that it's always under development. But when you look backwards, you say, okay, this has grown in a way that it is really amazing.
Bigger than us. I don't know if
So, how did I start it? That was your question.
How did you get help? Like I think one of the problems here, Carlos, all of us here in this cafe, we truly believe in that everyone should have an entrepreneurial mindset, in the sense that we all should be creating value for others. I think that a lot of people get a lot of nice ideas, but we are not either brave enough, and I include myself in there, we're not brave enough, or we don't know how to make it happen. Okay, so in 2 words, how did you make it happen? How did you, because people always say, yeah, but you need money for that. Yeah, of course, but you need, how did you do it?
Well, I think that the most important thing is to have the objective clear, okay? And then to have a passion for it. Those are the two key things to move forward. Because I just had an idea, and everyone said that it was a crazy idea. Also, speaking by my parents, they didn't really understand what was in my mind. So no one really knew what I was up to. So I didn't pay attention to that, because I knew that it was something that it was good and it was gonna be very impactful. And also the idea was it's still a disruptive idea, because what I did realize was that I didn't have a chunk of money to spend on the project. So I said, okay, I cannot build a house to provide these services to the homeless population, but I do have $5,000. So I decided to search through internet and see which bus was available for that amount of money. So I bought a bus that was out of service completely. It was a mess.
Destroyed.
At least the bus could drive. I could drive on the bus a couple of kilometers, but it was in the worst condition ever. So I spent those $5,000, and then I started to work my way through the problem. The problem was that I needed to renovate it entirely, the bus. So I started setting my mind or making my mindset towards the goal. So it may not be the most perfect business plan or business model, or however you would like to call it, but the driver here was the objective and the passion for it. So everything then started to catch up and to place its pieces in a very interesting manner. But I can remember that back then I hired a lady for the administration and, to give me some assistance. And she said, but how are we gonna get the money? Because there is no money for the project. There's nothing that creates a monetary value. So I said, well, I don't know. Let me just, let's just keep walking and let's see who can provide aid or financial support. As of today, because this is an issue that is always on top of the table, we are not, as most of the charities or the nonprofit organizations, the financial area is a weakness of all of these types of organizations, because your mindset is not structured in a way that you're thinking on producing or making money out of the project. And so it kind of creates a kind of controversy within the goals and your needs. So you're always in a rush for getting support, financial aid, and to getting donors to get in love with the project and provide some support. So, but well, as of today, that hasn't stopped us. We have 2 buses. One was donated by me, and the second one was donated by another by a company. So for that one, the first bus may have cost around $20,000 after all the transformation. The second one cost $70,000 because we decided to buy it from a factory and set it up.
Make it better. Carlos, there's a comment here from one of our friends from Aranza who says, from her personal point of view, it's not only an idea or an objective, but you as a person that made it possible. But she has a question. Okay, so let's listen to her question. And if anybody else has a question, please raise your hand.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I think that all of you know me, and if you don't, you should.
Okay.
This is Aranza, and I'm an entrepreneur champion, by the way, just in case.
Okay.
I'm just not a PhD, but an entrepreneur champion. I'm very happy. Well, first of all, congratulations, felicidades, Carlos.
Gracias.
It's great. I love your project, and I just wanted to let you know first of all that I will write about this project, not just the initiative as Mari said, but about this project. I will write down in my blog, my personal blog, about entrepreneurs, and if you don't mind, I mean.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, for sure.
I will do about that. I would like to know two things, Carlos. One is who is behind this project? Because I know that you are there because you are here. I know that Mari is there because she was there, but who is there? What is the team that is working in order to support this?
Well, that was kind of the thinking that we had to create differently from the Santa en las Calles movement. That was the volunteer activity that we created 10 years before this project. So one key point was that it was very difficult, or is very difficult, to rely 100% on volunteers, because with a project of this type, you need a team that needs to be there. Doesn't matter if it's raining or not. So that was part of the mindset for the project. So nowadays we have a team with operations, administration, communications. There is a new, well, not new now, but during the course of the project, we had to incorporate an additional division, which is the social workers division, which I didn't have it. I didn't have it in the scope back then. I didn't know that there was a profession for this type of professionals. So we incorporated that division, and at the beginning we had a division of doctors, but during the evolution of the program, we started working with not an in-house team of doctors, but a rotative team, which is not part of the foundation employees, but they work as as a freelance team of professionals. So let's say we have, for the doctors, we have a rotating team of 7 to 8, because sometimes it's bigger than others, and they work on shifts. So we pay by hour of service to this type of professional.
So you have volunteers and you have hired people in the
No,
team
for this program, the volunteers is kind of a program within the Panabus. So
Okay.
we don't rely on volunteers to make it happen, but because the volunteers it's kind of the seed for society, you need to cultivate your volunteers in order to heal society. Okay, that's the purpose of the volunteer. Because if you're working, let's say, with a company, that the company is providing you with some service or some goods in return, let's say they want to support you because they believe in the cause and they want to do something with the organization. What we normally say is, okay, I receive your service or your product, but it will be amazing to get some volunteers from your company or your nonprofit organizations to come and let's say join one of the ¿cómo se diría ruta?
Journey or route.
Yeah.
The trip itself?
Yeah, the trip. So the bus goes out every day. Okay, so so let's say during the week we have 5 trips. Okay, Monday, Tuesday. So what we ask for the companies is to provide us with some employees. It's not that we need them for the activity, but once they jump into the bus and they realize what is behind the activity itself, the mindset changes completely for this person. And then they have a different perception of, for example, in this case, the homeless population, or how far can their support go. So that's part of what we do. So we have, at this point, we have 2 programs. One is based 100% on volunteers. So if the volunteers don't appear, there's no activity.
Nothing happens.
Nothing happens. And the other one is this Panabus program, which has a team set up for the purpose. So we have a general manager, we have an accountant firm, we have an odontologist team, we have a medical team, and we're starting to work on a psychological team, which we had in the past, but we ran out of cash, so we had to put it aside.
Okay.
And
Lovely, Carlos.
how many social workers, Carlos? How many social workers do you have?
Well, for our small organization, there are, at the moment, there are 3.
Okay.
3.
Yeah, I'm just asking you because I'm from the area of education and I'm teaching future teachers, but also social educators, both of them that are different from social workers. Just you to know another figure, okay?
Yeah.
But I see that you are not so many people. You have a lot of volunteers, but as how you call it, the
organization or team.
Yeah, the team, how do you say that in English or in Spanish?
Yeah, the team itself,
the basis team, yeah, is no more than 6 people or 7, Carlos.
As employees, we have 6 people, no more than that. As let's say outsource medical team, we have 7. As outsource odontologist team, we have roughly, depends, because those are special journeys that we do or activities, but they may go from 5 to 10, depends on the month.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and then there are, let's say, photographers that pay, they support the communication team. The accountant is not, it's you know, a firm that we hire for that purpose.
Okay.
The legal support is mainly donated, so we don't pay for those services.
Carlos, I have a quick question for you before we go on to hearing from other people. I'm always intrigued about, you know, when I see people like you who are all about doing it, okay?
Yeah.
I'm always intrigued about what they think they're good at and what they think they lack. Okay, so I'm going to show you our EntreComp flower, which we all know very well in here. And maybe I'm hearing myself. Maybe if you could tell us which one of these 15 competences you think you're really good at. Either you were born with it or you worked hard to make it your own, and that's like your you know, your flag. And which one you're awful at, if there's any.
Well,
which
for
one
sure,
you have to work with.
the blue side of the flower, it's one of my strengths. So I'm very creative. I have the vision for that, and I know when an idea is a good one or not.
Okay, so that's one of your
sustainable thinking. Well, that may not the ethical, but the sustainable part. So let's say I have half of that piece of leaf, because.
And if you could choose one or two that you think you're not good at, and what do? You might need others, or you have to work on it. Which one would it be? I know mine.
Well,
mine would be financial and economic literacy.
Let's say that the financial economic literacy, and I am an administrative guy, but those are my weakness, because when I put my heart into a project, I don't really think if it's gonna be, let's say in this case, sustainable.
Okay.
Or if it's gonna be profitable, if it's a business. So I just go for it. So I don't know if it's a weakness or not, because if I had kept stuck with that leaf, I wouldn't move forward. So.
Okay, good, fantastic. So maybe Megan, you can tell us about the little activity we're going to do now. Carlos, thank you. It's amazing what you do, but stay here because there's more. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks.
So let's keep on moving. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to do a short activity here, which is all about looking at how you can also give back. So let me just switch over the page here, and I'll just put the link in the chat as well. What I want you to think about is things that you can do for others that will make a difference. Let me just get the link 1 second. I want you to think about things that you can do that make a difference for others. This could be something really small, like I can make coffee for my partner when he wakes up in the morning so he's not so grumpy, a simple thing that you might do, or it could be something bigger. It doesn't necessarily have to be something as big as Carlos's initiative, which is taking on, you know, thousands of dollars and really finding professionals to work with people and get them out of the streets. But what can you do in your local community, in your area, to make a difference for others? I think, Marianella, you had some ideas that you already wanted to throw in.
Yes, sure.
So I can see some coming in already. We've got volunteer for a local association. Fantastic. That's a great thing to do, because you don't have to be the person that creates the association. You don't have to be the person that comes up with the idea if that's not your strong suit, but you can take part, you can volunteer, you can support other organizations. Give us presents. Give as a present visuals of important part of life. Very nice. Smile and wish a good day to everyone I encounter. I like that, because that's definitely something small. It does make a difference, yeah. And that's something you can do. It doesn't cost any money, and it doesn't cost any time either to smile at people. Reach out to schools which have limited resources and teach during the weekend. Very nice as well. I think that especially during the COVID pandemic, we realized what schools were lacking in. Schools that perhaps didn't have digital resources or that didn't have specialist teachers that really needed it. So that's fantastic to see too. Take part in NGOs I believe in. Fantastic. Is there anyone who would like to mention an NGO that they believe in or that they wish that they could support? And Solène is asking, can we know more about the visuals to give us presents? So who wrote this down, and would you like to add anything to it? Please feel free to take the mic.
I did it.
Okay.
Yes, this is part of something that I like to do, and I started doing it 3 years ago, more or less, no more than 3 years ago. And this is, I discovered visual thinking, and I think that's lovely. And what I did once was I was in a thesis dissertation, and I thought that it was going to be a good idea to prepare like a summary while the person was defending, was in the viva of the thesis, and I prepared a visual, and then I gave her as a present, and she was so happy that I thought it's so easy for me to do that. I'm just paying attention, and at the same time I'm trying to do something for her to remember that. And I did it, and sometimes I do it while I'm just in the special moments of different people, just like presence. I also do that for other things, but in my case, that is something that I love to do. That's the same than disseminating projects through the blog, or just also taking part. I know different foundations that work on different things, so arts, culture, or even to work or to support research on special disease. And well, that is what I said.
Thank you, Arantxa. And I have seen some of the visual storyboards that you've taken before, and they're stunning. It is a really nice way to see the information and celebrate a special moment. So that's really lovely. Fantastic. I can see some other ones going up there, like organizing a clothing swap. This is something that I've heard about from various people, actually. Both for, it could be for babies, since babies don't wear the clothes so long. It's nice to have even a chain of swaps that, the baby turns 6 months and it goes to the next person, the next person, the next person. Or also for special occasions. Now that we're coming up to Christmas and New Year's, lots of kids, but adults too will be going to parties and having a dress just for one day. It doesn't make sense either financially or sustainably. So clothing swap is a fantastic initiative there as well. Let's take a look. Are there any that I've missed? Donate food and medicines, and also food banks. Invest in entrepreneurial projects. Disseminate projects. Currently volunteering for a national NGO for technology education. That's fantastic. And the last one, they're volunteering for an NGO that supports mentoring entrepreneurs who are in social and financial exclusion in society. Really fantastic. Are there any others there that I've missed or that anyone wants to expand upon?
Megan, maybe we can share in the chat the link to the discussion that we started on the platform.
Absolutely.
So that it would be lovely if all of us could expand a bit on these ideas that we just shared on this Jamboard, and we can tell a little story about other initiatives. I added a couple that about the clothing swap initiative. I've explained it in the discussion because it's something super simple to do and that can help so many people. So if you go to that link that Megan just shared, there we can share our little initiatives, little changes that we can do. So that's fantastic. Thank you for sharing. Hopefully we all copy each other here. This is one of those occasions when copying is really good. So let's copy each other in doing good. I don't know if anyone wants to share anything else or something something special that you know in your community, because we do have something to show you, something that we want you to support as well. We want to share with you a project that it's very close to our hearts. It's very close to our hearts because it has to do with Ukraine. We were lucky enough to put in contact with Irina Minkovska a few months ago. She's an amazing woman from Ukraine who's fighting her way through to support teachers, educators, and families in the Ukraine. And she is convinced, as we are, that the entrepreneurial competence is the competence that will help Ukrainians rebuild their country after this awful word is done. So she has a lovely organization called Me and My School, and it's all about supporting, as I said, schools, teachers, families, and children. And since the war started, she's been helping different organizations and different schools and different groups of people who are in need. And right now she's supporting this lovely project that is called Ibuki, and that we're going to learn about it in a minute, because they realized that there's no way you can teach a kid that it's in such need and it's even traumatized, okay, and has lost family, has lost their houses, their towns, everything. So they are really into helping emotionally traumatized children through the Ibuki project, okay? We'll share with you a webpage later that you can visit and you can see what it's all about. It's a beautiful initiative of hugging dogs, hugging stuffed animals, and because hugging is healing, as we all know. And it's a project that started actually not in Ukraine, but in Israel in 2006 and has been helping lots of Israeli children. Ibuki actually means hug in Hebrew. So they have found that while kids are being hugged by these very special stuffed animals, they are more open to listen to others, they feel more secure, etc., 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 etc. You will be able to read all about it in the webpage that we share. But let's listen from Irina. Let's hear it from Irina, okay? Because she was kind enough to send us a short video about thanking and about what this is all about. So let's hear it from her.
Hello, Marinella. Hello, dear friends. My name is Irina Minkovska, and I'm from Ukraine, from Kharkiv. I have an educational center in Kharkiv for parents, teachers, and kids. We have been working for 2 years already and became a real supermarket for all maybe citizens of our city, and people value us for our quality and for our attitude to our work and to them. But after 24th of February, because we also with my husband have 2 kids, small kids, we had to move to Kyiv region. So my husband is still working in Kharkiv and my father also, but I'm with my kids here in Kyiv region, and here is a big governmental school, and this 1st of September it's a start of educational year in Ukraine. This school got 600 kids that are not from this school. They are from other regions, like my kid also. They are from Kherson region, from Kharkiv, from Chernihiv, from Sumy, from Donetsk and Lugansk regions. And all these kids, they are really very charmed of the war. They are all different, but they all have some psychological problems already because of this, all of this that we have now in Ukraine. And we had an idea. We learned about such hibuki therapy. With the principal of the school, we decided to realize this project in this school. We found money for the course for teachers, and we found money for that, and teachers are already studying. But after the course, we need money to buy these hibuki toys. At least one for a group of kids of 5, 6, 7 kids at least. In the ideal variant, of course, it will be better if every kid will have such a friend, such a psychological instrument to work with this kid. But if not, at least one for the group of 5 or 6, 7 kids, it's more or less okay. Every toy is costs $19. Maybe we will ask for some discount for us, but in any case, it's a huge sum for this school, and we ask all people whom we know to help us and to help this kid, these children to live this winter. You see, in Ukraine it's winter already, and it's very beautiful, really. And if we don't think about that we have a war in our country, we would like to think that we have New Year and Christmas very soon. But it's very difficult here to think about the holidays, because we think about our victory every day and do everything we can for that. So we ask you to help our Ukrainian kids to be more happy this winter, without electricity very often, without warm, without heat, without water, without Wi-Fi, just to have this a little friend, this hibuki toy, because it can help them really to be more happy, to be more stable, to be more like to have normal psychological condition. We believe in this very much, because we saw that how it works in other schools, and we want to realize it here. In any case, we want to say thank you for all the help that your country is providing for my country, for Ukraine. We know that we will win in any case, because all the road is with us, and this help is becoming not less but more every day. So really, we know that we depend not only our country, we depend freedom and human rights in all the world. So it won't be your investment in in nothing. It's your investment in our and your freedom. Thank you so much, and I wish you a good evening. Bye.
Okay, well, it always breaks my heart when I chat with Irina. Of course, me being in my house with a hot coffee, and she being out there, not knowing what's going to happen in the next minute. So we've known her for some time. We've done some tiny little things for her when she's asked. We wish we could do more, but this is a project that we believe in, because obviously kids cannot function normally if they're going through all of this. So Megan has just shared with us in the chat, okay, a link, a couple of links. One is to some resources that we have translated and we have created in Ukrainian. that maybe if you know of any other teachers out there or people who might benefit from them, please go there to that first link and share it freely, because we can help a lot of people. And the other one is the link for donations, okay? So hopefully we can all in here donate even a little bit, but sharing that link with others would be very important for them as well. Okay, so that's the web page. Megan is showing us right now about the Ibuki therapy so that you learn from it. It's been used in the States, in the United States, in Israel and other countries for kids with trauma and living very difficult situations. So that's another initiative that we wanted to share with you. I know it's been a long but very special cafe. So we would love to thank everybody before we go. Thank you for being here. Have a happy holiday, everybody. We'll be back on the 17th of January. We'll see each other on the 17th of January. And we want to say goodbye with a very special video that touches our heart as well, that has to do with what Carlos taught us today, and has to do with Irina's dreams. I say Irina, but I should, it extends to everybody in Ukraine, about dreams, having dreams, and how we can turn them into reality. So thank you, everybody. Enjoy the video and sing. Thank you. Happy holidays.
I close my eyes and I can see a world that's waiting up for me, that I call my own. Through the dark, through the door, through where no one's been before, but it feels like home. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say I've lost my mind. I don't care, so call me crazy. We can live in a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make. There's a house we can build. Every room inside is filled with things from far away. Special things I compile, each one there to make you smile on a rainy day. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say we've lost our minds. I don't care if they call us crazy. Run away to a world that we design.
Every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make.
However big, however small, let me be part of it all. Share
The brightest colors fill my head.
A million dreams are keeping me
A million dreams, a million dreams. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make.
for the world we're gonna make.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here. See you in January. Thank you, Carlos, for
Thank
sharing
you.
and inspiring us all. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.